Have you ever wanted to make money online but just don't know what to sell? I have 10 items which I'm about to show you, which are a great place to start. You can find these items relatively cheap and flip them online for a profit. Before moving on with the video, please leave a like or subscribe. It would mean the world to me if you guys did throw a like on this video. That way I know if you guys enjoy content like this and if I should continue making it. Now on to the top 10 best items to sell online in 2022. To start things off, hats are one of the best items that you can sell online. You can usually find them for $2 or less at garage sales, flea markets, or thrift stores. And then most of the time you can sell hats for $10 to $20 plus shipping. And sometimes you can even find some expensive hats that can go upwards of $50, maybe even hundreds of dollars. For example, I have a Los Angeles Lakers three-peat hat, and I actually found this before Kobe Bryant passed away. Rest in peace to the Black Mamba, if you guys know basketball. But anyways, it was actually expensive before Kobe even passed away because it is a vintage hat, but the value slightly increased afterwards, and it's probably worth around like $100 right now, but I'm just gonna hold it out. That's something I really don't want to be selling. So at number 2 on the list are used pairs of shoes. The best brands that you can look out for are Nike, Adidas, or even Hoka's, which is probably one of my favorite brands to flip because they usually sell really fast. Those are just a few of the used pairs of shoe brands that you guys can find. There's another one that I did miss, such as Brooks, but there are so many more that you guys can learn and will learn over time as you increase your knowledge in the reselling business. One of the best parts of shoes is that they all tend to have style codes, which means that you can actually take the style code of a shoe and look it up online to find out which specific model it is and how much it's going for. Usually you can spend anywhere between $4 to $10 on a pair of shoes depending on where you're getting it from, and you can sell it anywhere from average, I would probably say, so you could probably get $30 to $40 plus shipping online. If you find ones that are actually profitable, that's a good average to shoot for, but you can find ones that can sell upwards of hundreds of dollars. I previously have sold like Jordans in the past for a good amount of money, or Nike Air Maxes. I never really had any crazy sales when it came to shoes, but there's plenty of shoes that you guys can look out for. So preferably the more money I spend on a pair of shoes, I mean this can go with anything, but the more money I spend on a pair of shoes, the more money I'd like to make. So for example, if I'm going to be spending $30 to $40 on a pair of shoes, I would like to make at least double my money, but preferably I would like to go even more than a double up. So Nike, Jordan, and Adidas are probably the ones that are the most common to find out in the wild. Hence, they're probably going to be the most profitable ones that you can find the most of. However, Hoka 1-1s and Brooks are also really solid pairs of shoes. You can sell them anywhere between, honestly, you could start as low as $40. I mean, it could be, depending on condition, of course. If they're in decent shape, you can sell them from anywhere from $40 upwards to $100 or even $150 in used condition. It just depends on the color, the size, the model, and the condition. Moving on to number 3 on the list is actually one of my favorite items that I love to sell, and it's actually video games. The reason why I love video games is because more often than not, the second you list the video game, it sells. And I'm not even being dramatic or anything like that. I've actually made $10,000 in one day in sales selling video games, and it was all the same sealed game. They all sold within 6 hours. 10 copies of Fortnite, the original copy for PS4, which is out of print. I found them at a store for $30 each. Bought 10 copies. My girlfriend bought 10 copies too. Funny story, there was actually no market when it came to these Fortnites. So originally I wanted to sell them on Amazon because I would make more money than eBay. But the thing is, there was really no sold comps on eBay in new condition, just used condition. So I figured if they're going for around $100 to $150 each in used condition, we could probably sell them for about double on eBay and then maybe a little bit more on Amazon. But anyways, my girlfriend decided to create the market since I did found the games and I let her know about it. There was a limit in the store as to how many I could buy, so I told her to go in and get the rest because there was a limit as to how many I could get, and she decided to create the market since I basically found it, so it was only fair that she tried to sell it first on eBay and I would wait for Amazon to make more money. But she listed it for $300 on eBay and it literally sold within 5 minutes for $300. She listed another copy for $400, sold, 500 sold, 600 sold, 700 sold, and you guys get the drift. But then eventually a few hours later, I went and listed mine on eBay for $1,000 each. So I sold 3 copies for $1,000 each, and then I basically gave this guy a huge discount because he wanted to buy the rest of the 6 copies that I had, or 7 copies that I had. So instead of charging $1,000 each, I gave him like $1,000 off, like in total as a discount on the order. But that's how I made around $9,000 to $10,000 in one day selling video games. So anyways, that was a fun little story time that I shared with you guys. And now we're going to move on to why else I love video games. So I love video games not only because they sell super fast, but because there's some games just like the Fortnites that I just told you about that can sell for a lot of money. And one of my favorite things to do is actually find games in the wild and then maybe keep some of them for my collection as well if you're into that kind of stuff. But anyways, the best games that you guys can find are ones that are complete in box with manuals. So basically what I mean by this is opening up the game, see if there's a disc, of course. Make sure the disc doesn't have any scratches and make sure it's in good condition. If it's not, try to test as many as you can. You don't have to test every single game that you sell online, but the more you can actually test it, the less returns that you'll get, and you'll actually know if your items will work or not. Complete in-box games tend to raise the price of video games, and video games are something that you guys can usually get for really cheap. And even if you don't get them for super duper cheap, like I said, I spent $30 on those Fortnite copies. Even if you can sell them for $100 to $150, like I said, in used condition, which is how much those are worth. So look out for games like that because they should sell relatively quickly if they're a popular title. Number 4 on the list are used books. So I love used books because of how cheap you can get them. So this is why I made this video. You guys can find all these items for super duper cheap, and books are one of the ones that you can find for extremely cheap. I like to go to the Goodwill bins and get some books, but I also shop at Salvation Armies and other thrift stores. There's plenty of other ones. You can even ask your friends. Oh, especially if you're in college. Asking your friends for their college textbooks is a great way to go because college textbooks can sell for so much money. But anyways, you can pick them up for 25 cents and try not to spend maybe $4 or $5 on a book unless it has a really good ranking or a sell-through rate on eBay or Amazon. So basically, if you guys don't know what that is, it's if you go onto eBay and you hit sold comps, you see how many sold comps there are in the last 90 days. And for example, let's just say on a specific book, if there are 100 sold comps in 90 days that have sold, but 50 are selling right now, that means there is a 200% sell-through rate. So basically, look out for the books or basically any item that has a really good sell-through rate. That's just a quick little tip for you guys. But anyways, I've bought books for 25 cents each, and I've actually sold them online for over $100, some almost even $200 on Amazon. Amazon FBA is one of the best places to sell used books. If you guys don't know what Amazon FBA is, please go ahead and watch some YouTube tutorials on it. I sell on Amazon, and it helps make an extra influx of cash. So in addition to being able to buy used books for a really cheap price, the reason why I love them so much is because they're easy to scan, they're easy to ship, and they're easy to list. Moving on to number 5 on the list is actually CDs. The reason why I love CDs is very similar to books. It's because they're easier to scan, easy to ship, and you can usually find them for really cheap prices. There are a lot of CDs that you can make a lot of money on, but you're probably gonna have to scan through 20 to 30 CDs before you can even find one that is relatively profitable. But don't get discouraged because when you do find some of the CDs that are profitable, you can actually make a lot of money on them. And like I said before, the best part about this video is that you don't have to invest much money into these items, but even if they don't sell, you know you're not spending that much into something, especially if you're someone that's just starting out. And the good thing with CDs too is that the more you can increase your knowledge, the more you guys know which CDs to be on the lookout for. So basically, if you have someone like Garth Brooks, really good country singer, his CDs aren't really going to be worth that much money. But I actually just sold an Aretha Franklin CD this week, and it sold for $40 plus shipping. I found that like Motown, Aretha Franklin, The Temptations, those types of CDs, they can actually sell for a lot of money online. So those are some good names or titles to look out for. And keep in mind that the more you learn about this stuff, the more knowledge you're going to have, and it's going to make things a lot easier to find stuff in the future. So number 6 is actually another favorite on my list, and that's actually DVDs. The reason why I love DVDs is because it's actually the most common sealed item that I find out in the wild. So when it comes to DVDs, more often than not, DVDs aren't going to necessarily be profitable, but if you can find them in new condition, they can sell anywhere between 10 to hundreds of dollars. It just depends on the title. I like to make at least $10 on a DVD, but keep in mind, if I'm only spending 15 and 25 cents on a DVD, I'm happy to sell it anywhere between $5 and $10 because all of those little sales add up. However, though, don't just look out for new DVDs. There is a lot of used DVDs that can also sell for a lot of money. I've sold plenty in the past. The best DVDs to look out for are like DVD box sets of like old TV shows. I find that those do really well, especially if they're like complete series. Like if you find something that's just like season 1 or season 2, more often than not, it's not going to really be worth that much money. But if you can find like a complete 1 through 9 complete series set, those are going to be the ones that tend to be worth a lot more money. Number 7 on this list are toys. You can find them either used or new. I prefer to sell toys on Amazon FBA because you can get a lot more money on there, but you can sell toys on eBay as well. I do the same thing. I sell it on eBay. So a lot of people are really into that stuff, and you can actually make a lot of money selling toys. So if you're just starting out and you're a beginner, you should probably start out with used toys and try to learn out the market. With a new toy, you're probably going to have to invest a little bit more money, which you probably wouldn't want to yet if you're just starting out your business. So selling used toys is probably the best way to start learning about the industry and how much they actually sell for. But then as you make more money and have more capital in your business, you can actually sell used toys online, and you can sell them for, I'm not going to give you estimates because toys can be anywhere from like $5 to like thousands of dollars, but just keep in mind, scan the used toys, and if you can't find them, if you scan something, this goes with any item, go ahead and type in the whole entire title on eBay. For example, if you find a Marvel's Adventure Hasbro 4-inch toy, Hulk, whatever, type all of that in if you can't find something off of a regular scan. So number 8 on this list is going to be clothing. There are so many brands which you can look out for. Clothing is an item that can be extremely profitable because you can also get some pieces for very cheap. There are so many brands you can look out for, especially high-end brands. I have no idea why, but so many people donate Versace's, Gucci's, all these really, really expensive brands. They donate them to Goodwill or regular thrift stores. I have no idea why. The only problem is that you do have to look out for inauthenticity, and obviously if you can find something that's older, used vintage clothing tends to sell for a lot of money online. But yeah, just keep that in mind when you are buying clothing, whether it be used or even new condition. Make sure you check out the condition, and in the description of your listings, make sure that you disclose any of the flaws. Describing any of the flaws in the condition of an item can make sure that you get a lot less returns online, which ends up making you more money in the long run and gives you really good ratings too. Coming in at number 9 on the list are electronics, preferably small electronics. I've actually sold a watch before that has paid for my whole entire college tuition. I actually posted a video on it if you guys want to go ahead and watch it. Some of the best electronics that you guys can sell online are going to be small electronics. The reason for this is because they're going to be very easy to ship, they're going to be easier to list, and they're going to be easier to store. Especially if you guys are starting out on eBay, which is probably why you're watching this video. You guys don't have a lot of storage space. You guys might have your room to store stuff in, you might have your garage, or if you're finally starting to branch out into more and more items, you guys can get a storage unit like I do. But anyway, some small electronics that you guys can look out for are watches, cameras, or even items such as like small clocks or little radios. I've sold items like this for hundreds of dollars in the past. Keep in mind, a lot of people do know how much electronics are actually worth, but when it comes to thrift stores, they obviously tend to charge a little bit cheaper on these types of items. So even if you have to spend $20 to $40 on these types of items, which are normally more expensive than all the items that I've probably mentioned on this list. So electronics, media, they all tend to sell really fast. So when it comes to investing more money into something, a big factor in buying that item is knowing if it's going to sell fast or not. The whole goal of this video is finding items that are going to be extremely profitable and that are going to be easy to ship. And in addition to that, you're obviously going to want to know if you're going to hold on to it for a long time or not. As you learn more and more about this process, there's a lot more electronics or even bigger items that you can look out for. For example, one of my favorite things to actually buy and sell online are DVD combo players, like DVD VHS players, or even items such as like KitchenAid mixers. You can sell some of these items from anywhere between $50 to hundreds of dollars. As you learn how to ship items, go big or go home. Start going to the bigger stuff, and that's how you can branch out and make a lot more sales in your business. Finally, concluding the top 10 items to sell online in 2022 are going to be VHS tapes. The VHS market has become extremely hot, especially for sealed DVDs. I mean, sealed VHSs. I'm caught up on number 6, which was DVD. But anyways, with the VHS market, there are some VHS tapes that are actually selling for thousands of dollars. Keep in mind, you're not actually going to find these expensive of items actually in the wild, but there's plenty of brand new sealed VHS tapes that you can find and sell them online for $30, $40, $50. Fun fact, I actually found a sealed VHS tape this week and I bought it for 25 cents and it actually sold in the past for $50 plus shipping. Currently on eBay, there's one selling for $30 free shipping. Mine does have a little slit in the seal though, so like I said before, when it comes to conditions of items, make sure you check the condition, and even with a small little slit, it should sell between $15 to $20 plus shipping brand new. I just have to wait for the right buyer to come around. So as a bonus to this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys all of the shipping shipping supplies that I use in my business. I know if you guys are new to reselling, you guys are probably curious as to what I actually use. So I use different size poly mailers. So for example, I use 14.5 inches by 19 inch poly mailers. I use 13 by 10 poly mailers. I use 6 by 10 DVD bubble wrapped poly mailers. They're also good for video games. So anyways, all you have to do with that is put the DVD or video game right in, close it up, put the label on it, and it's ready to go. Next up, I also use bubble wrap. My favorite place to get bubble wrap from is American Bubble Boy. The reason why I love American Bubble Boy so much is because you guys can literally order bubble wrap and it will show up at your house in 2 days. It's way faster than Amazon, way faster than anywhere else, honestly, that I know about, unless you have a local shipping supplier or shipping supply supplier. That's a weird mouthful to say. But anyways, bubble wrap comes in 2 days. There's all different sizes, all different types of bubble wrap that you guys can choose from, and it's definitely a competitive price on the market. In addition to that, there's a bunch of other shipping supplies that I use. I like to get some shipping supplies from Dollar Tree as well. You guys can get scissors, little tape, big tape, it doesn't really matter what it is, even DVD poly mailers or other types of poly mailers if you're just starting out. It's a good place to just start off to get some shipping supplies, but as you scale your business more and more, you're obviously going to want to buy stuff in bulk to save money on shipping supplies. Those are some of the items that I can think of off the top of my head, and I'm going to be adding any of the other items that I use for my shipping supplies in the description or the comments down below. That's going to be the end of the video for you guys today. I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. I had a lot of fun filming it. It's very enjoyable to teach other people, especially if you guys are new resellers, what I sell online, because you guys can go ahead and use it to make some money too. I've used this as a way to not only cash flow my college, but also to pay off bills and to pay off all of my debt that I've had. Anyways, that's going to be the end of the video today. I really hope you guys did like it, and I hope you guys have a really good rest of your day. Also, please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already.